All right, guys, picture this. I'm cruising pretty fast. Not too fast, definitely a safe amount. On the way to Alex's house, the Freedom Shack, to meet up with Alex and Adam because we got to go to a Rolling Stones concert. Definitely running a little bit late, so I'm moving with purpose. I get there, ready to freaking, balls out, run to the car and get going, and what do I walk into? They're freaking jamming. I think it was Ramble On, Zeppelin.
Ramble On, yeah.
Y'all were just going nuts.
Yeah, we were acting like we had no purpose. Now, we were waiting for a while because Andy was going from work and we got off early. And he walks in and we're just both jamming to Ramble On before, and he's like, dude, we got to go. And so I was like, okay, I'll put all the guitars away and do whatnot. So we left from there, but Andy was still hungry, so we had to get tacos.
Adam was hungry too.
Adam was also hungry.
Yep.
So we got a couple tacos on the way because everybody knows tacos is the best way to start a Rolling Stones concert. I don't know if that's true or not, but saying it with purpose.
We needed food.
Yeah. So this is the Rolling Stones concert experience for us. So we're going there. The most traffic I've ever seen. Like I've been to quite a few concerts, and I can always judge how good a show is going to be based on how much traffic there is. Because it's like if it's light, if you show up, there's nothing going on. It's like it's going to be an okay show.
Yeah.
We looked at the thing. It's like, all right, 35 minutes and 2 miles. Like, I was like, this is the highway. It's 2 miles and it's going to take us 35 minutes.
We had to park a ways away just because it was going to take forever to get all the way up there. So we decided to park a bit further back, and then start walking there. And there's this dude on the side of the road selling beer out of a thing.
Which I thought was illegal. Like, definitely didn't have a license. This cooler was barely functional. And great beer.
$5.
$5. And at first I was like, oh, man, if I knew it was going to be $5, I would have just gotten it in there. And Eddie was like, dude, it's going to be like $13 in there. So right. I forgot how much beer at concerts costs.
Yeah.
Like a Mick Ultra is like, that'll be $14.99. Like,
yeah.
So we got these beers. We're having a great time. The line is ridiculous. This whole thing is at Raymond James Stadium in Tampa. We saw a bunch of people there. I'm sure a lot of people followed the channel that were there. So excited. We've been looking forward to this for a while. Never seen the Stones. Now, going into it, I'd only had one person I knew that had been to a Stones concert, and that was my friend Beryl. And he was like, really great show, excited to see it, excited you're going to get to go. And I was like, awesome. So we pull in there, the spectacle of the whole thing. So we were in like the floor seating.
Yep.
Not like seated, they have like a general admission. Those were the cheapest tickets. And considering they're the it's cheaper, maybe like the top floor is like a little less expensive.
Yeah.
But you have to be right there.
Felt like the best place to be.
Yeah.
Honestly.
It was just awesome. Some lady, I talked to her way too long in line. Andy was annoyed.
I was borderline annoyed. I was like, man, he's next to somebody for more than 30 seconds. You guys start talking about their whole life story.
Your boy's
and shit.
talkative. I'm a talkative boy.
Next thing you know, she's buying us a round of beer.
Yeah. And in fact, she buys him a beer. Now, we waited in this like 30-minute line to get beers in the venue because we both were like, we want 3 to 4 beers. That's where we want to sit. So we got one beer outside the facility. And so we get in, and I'm like, I want 2 beers. I'm waiting in this line. I want 2 beers.
Yep.
She buys each of us one, and I go, I'm going to get 2. And she goes, you're going to get 2. I bought you 1. Like, you can't scam the system. You don't get 2. And I was like, listen, Linda, I'll buy my own second beer, but I definitely waited in line. I definitely want a second beer.
I came here with intention to buy 2.
Yeah, I was like,
and then you got it, and it was so funny because then I was like, wait, this is a long line. I'm not gonna be able to come back here from like, wait, can I get that? Like another one? And then like this other guy that was next in line was like, hey, back in the line, you're the guy at your beer. I was like, I waited in line. He got 2, I'm getting 2.
Yeah, Linda bought me 2. You only got 1, but that's how the cookie crumbles. So, and then she tipped the guy like 20%. I was like, what a nice lady. Shout out to Linda. So we go in, dude. It made me realize how massive the Rolling Stones are.
Yeah.
Because to do a venue like that at all and to have that much, like, it was the most money for a concert I've ever seen. As far as like production value in there.
Yeah.
It was like a town. It literally felt like you were in a town. We're standing in the rows and all of a sudden the lights dim. Everyone goes nuts as per usual. And they do a really, really awesome tribute to Charlie Watts, who just passed away pretty recently. And we were talking about it. It's got to be so hard to be in a band with somebody for that long. You got to be like best friends. Your family's got to be so close. Like your kids probably call them uncle. Like, and to have somebody pass away, it's got to be tragic.
Yeah.
And I thought it was so memorable and so kind. And the way they did it was so respectful.
Yeah. The tribute was awesome. Like it showed like highlights and moments from like seemingly all parts of his life, from when like the Stones were just starting out, any footage they had of there, and then just kind of going up to recent years. And it was just like felt super like heartfelt. It was awesome.
Yeah. The drummer they got to replace him, I think, is the drummer for the John Mayer band.
Yeah.
Incredible.
He's great.
Incredible drummer.
Yep.
And you can tell how incredible a drummer is by the fact that he was chewing gum while playing.
Well, that's the easy sign.
Easy sign. So they started with that. They went into their music. I think very early on they played like Beast of Burden and Miss You. Did they play Miss You?
Yeah, they did.
And so it was just so cool to hear all of that. And he's talking to the crowd. It's, for one, my biggest takeaway from the start of the concert to the end was Mick Jagger's like how old?
Like 78 or something.
78?
Something like that.
Old. And this dude was the most in shape I've ever seen any singer.
His strut was powerful.
He felt like the cockiest rooster in the room, just like strutting, shaking his head like that, like just going. I was like, dude, no wonder every girl was into him. Like, there's that song like Moves Like Jagger. The man still got the moves like Jagger. Like, he seemed like borderline. He has missed no like energy from this time period to way early in his career.
Definitely gave his all.
Beryl told me later on, like, he runs like 9 miles a day. I don't know if that's true. That's just from a friend. But watching him on stage, I was like, I can see that.
He's definitely keeping up with his cardio.
Yeah.
For sure.
And he comes out, he has like 3 shirts on, and he just like slowly takes one layer off at a time. And by the time he gets down to like just the last shirt of the 3, he's like, what do we got to do? We got to make the lights go down, like have somebody else get the focus. He comes back, 3 more shirts. He's that excited. And I was like, I was here for all of it. Every part of it was awesome. The one small disappointment I had in playing, I was so excited to see Keith Richards play.
Yeah.
And from a couple friends that have seen him previously, mostly Beryl, they said that, he didn't seem like he was like the way he played back in the day. And that was like my only sadness. He felt like he didn't want to be there totally.
Yeah, it was definitely like interesting to feel. I definitely got the vibe where he seemed like he was having a good time, but I couldn't tell at times if he was like touring because it was just like the thing to do. And also part of it might have been just, obviously like Richard Watts, died recently.
Yeah.
And it was just hard to tell if he was really feeling it. But he's also like, you get that sense of like commitment to the tour, to the fans, and just to the music. So he's like pushing through it. But he definitely got like a little bit of like that feeling. Like a lot of the songs, they had another guitar player that was covering most of the things. And it was almost like Keith would kind of like turn up and start jabbing in like wherever he liked.
It felt like he played like 20% of the songs. And when he played, it was cool. He played one of the solos at the beginning. It was like a little out of tune. And then from there on, there was like no other points that it was like that. It was still awesome to see him because I feel like if I would have gone to a Rolling Stone show and not seen Keith Richards, I would have been super disappointed.
Yeah.
And so I think he got that because, the first time he pulls up on stage, everyone goes nuts.
Absolutely.
So overall, though, the music was just done so well. The keyboard player was incredible. The second guitarist they had was incredible. I forget his name. Ronnie Wood, maybe, I think. Ronnie Wood. I guess he's been with him forever, like from like the 70s or 80s. One thing that I thought was maybe the coolest part of the whole thing is Mick Jagger stops at a point after one song, and he goes, I remember the first time we played in Florida, we played in Clearwater, and he's telling the story. And he goes, we played this show. It was a horrible show. Like, I don't know if he says we got like booed off the stage or something.
Yeah, exactly.
And he was like, it was not good. We left the venue early, like literally didn't even get to play our full set.
Yep.
Horrible experience. And he said we went to back to the hotel room so sad, so upset, so like disillusioned with it. And that night in the Clearwater Hotel in Florida is where Keith Richards wrote Can't Get No Satisfaction, like the riff to it. And I was like, oh my gosh, Florida just ruining people's dreams and making great music.
It was crazy. We thought they were about to go like, into the song.
No, they teased it.
They teased it the hardest.
I was so surprised. I was like, it felt like that point in the movie where you go, oh, this guy dies in the movie. And then that guy doesn't die in the movie. I was like, what? Felt like the biggest like M. Night Shyamalan moment of the whole night.
Some straight foreplay.
Yeah.
Foreshadowing. Both of those things.
Yeah. So it was great. And the whole concert was just erupting at every awesome song. And it felt like you forget just how many amazing songs the Rolling Stones have. Because You Miss You, Beast of Burden, and then they played all these other songs like we'd never even heard of, ones that were supposed to hit, something about like Cloud, something.
Like Jumping Jack Flash.
Jumping Jack Flash. And so we haven't hit those yet, and it just made me like, oh, we got to hit these on the channel.
Yeah. It felt like they saved all of the popular bangers for last. Like literally, the run at the end was insane. I think they had like Paint It Black, Sympathy for the Devil, Gimme Shelter, and then they ended with like Can't Get No Satisfaction, probably another really big song in there too, but like just a straight run.
And it felt like every one of those was its own iconic moment.
Yep.
So for Paint It Black, which was probably the first song I ever heard from the Rolling Stones on like
Guitar Hero. Yeah.
And he comes out with like a sitar and he's playing. It sounds perfect. That was like my favorite Keith Richards moment of the night.
Yeah.
And just incredible he's playing it. And then they go from that to Sympathy for the Devil. I was like, dude, I've heard this played so many times at bars. I've heard tons of bands cover it. My band used to cover it, and hearing it from the Stones, like out of the Stones, I was like, this feels better. This feels better than the studio version. Like this is what you come to a concert for.
Yeah, it was insane.
Yeah.
And then thing they also played, I forgot to mention, or I guess I forgot the song, but they played Can't Always Get What You Want in there too somewhere, which was immaculate live.
They had these backup singers who were just, they seemed like what you'd expect going on tour with the Stones. This is like a chance of a lifetime.
Yep.
And they seemed like they were milking every second of it. They were like,
oh, yeah.
The singers were so incredible, so happy to be there. At one point, like the main guy was like, the main backup singer was like singing back and forth with Keith Richards. Just earth-shattering. So fun.
Yeah. Gimme Shelter was immaculate. Dude, I literally, I wasn't bawling my eyes out, but tears were just streaming. Like, after the female singer did the main part of the Ray Murder, he did that, kind of came down, and then her and Mick Jagger were going back and forth. Like, I don't know, it's when they go, like, love, like, sister, like, just a kiss away. Whenever they go into that part, dude, I was literally just, like, tears streaming.
It
just felt so
best.
powerful.
There was no moment there that, like, no song that I was like, that could have been better.
Yeah, none of that.
Like, it was just done so well. Like, the production value alone, I mean, something about seeing fireworks and giant flames shoot up does make those songs better. Like, I can't have that listening in my house because that would burn down my house.
Exactly.
But when you're in a freaking stadium and there are these giant cannons shooting out and people yelling, and the energy of everyone there, just like young and old, and there was a wide breadth. Like, there was
All
not
kinds
like
of people.
Yeah, there was not just like, oh, here's a bunch of like older people who were like, this is what they came out with. It's like it was them, it was their kids, it was their freaking grandkids, it was their cousin, it was everybody, and it was awesome. And other great thing about having the floor seats where we were, because we're not like seated, is you could just walk back. There was beers, like people selling beer right behind us. So at one point I'm waiting in line, not even upset the line, because like I'm watching the Stones there, walking backwards, waiting to get my beer. Perfect scenario.
Yeah, it did not disappoint. It was just awesome. And it's like so happy and privileged to have been able to see the Rolling Stones, because there's like our kids are not gonna be able to see them.
No,
it's just not gonna be an option. And it's so crazy that we're gonna be able to tell them, like when we show them awesome music, it's like, oh yeah, we saw them.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Just insane.
Yeah, so great concert. It made me really curious to know what the differences were between seeing him now and seeing him back in the day. I want to hear your guys' concert experiences, but overall, man, it was just. It was flawless. Like, it was a great night. And, you know, it seemed like they were fighting some sound issues at some points, like from the actual in-house people. Like, they couldn't, like, the volumes were kind of fluctuating a little bit. Yeah. But it was one of those things that, like, they could have, there could have been, like, literally you could have had stuff go down. Like, you could have not heard the guitar, you could have not heard the drums, and it still would have been amazing. Just the whole atmosphere, everybody chanting back and forth, everybody yelling, everybody screaming. Like, this whole stadium, you look around, you're like, oh my gosh, like, could they ever have imagined they would have gotten this big? And they've been this big for 40 years. And
but it's like you can just see, like you can like have like this image and this picture of them in the beginning, because it feels like not much has changed. A lot's changed, obviously, but it feels like, especially like with Mick Jagger's like charisma and just like his strut, it feels like he had that same mentality back when they were getting big. At least you get that feeling, which it makes it so awesome to support something like that, because it feels like they didn't change on you. You know what I mean? Which is an awesome feeling to see in an artist. But in general, if you guys see cool concerts like that are happening like near us, you know, at any point, you know, shoot us a message. You know, like I think like the Kiss tickets, like some guy was like, listen, I know you probably won't go see them unless I do something about it, so I'm gonna buy you guys tickets and you're gonna go see them. I'm making this happen. So it's like, if you guys ever get that feeling and send us concert tickets, we're not gonna not go to the show.
That's true.
All I'm saying.
That's true. Also, if there's a really big show and like a lot of people from the channel want to go, maybe we'll do a little meet and greet. We've definitely met people from the channel like at concert venues. So just let us know cool shows and maybe we'll see you there.
Yeah. And if you dig these concert reviews, like let us know. We'll keep going to shows and keep giving you guys, you know, our takes on them. But yeah, great experience.
With that being said, see you in the next video.